Hello everybody, and this is the NXT Roadblock review, but also Deep Dive Episode 4. After I get done with the Roadblock review, we're going to go through everything that happened after Roadblock. So let's start off this with a bang. We saw the opener with Fraxium versus the Hardy Boys, and in this match we saw great. I actually expected Fraxium to go a little slower, but they didn't, and this was a perfectly paced match. And we saw the Hardy Boys keep up with them, which I thought was actually insane, because we normally don't see the Hardy Boys keep up with younger talent, and that is no shade to the Hardy Boys, but we know that they're definitely getting older, and Fraxium, it's kind of an out with the old, in with the new kind of thing, and Fraxium and Axiom are Fraxium are the best tag team in the world right now. But in this match, I kind of felt like it was the passing of the torch match. This match was for the TNA World Tag Team Championships, and the Hardy Boys did defeat Fraxium. But after I heard them defeat Fraxium, it definitely switched up my predictions for later matches in the show. But yeah, I was really happy to see Hardy Boys defeat Fraxium, but at the same time, I didn't know how I felt about it, because I kind of felt like Fraxium should have won, especially because they've been putting in the work over the past over the past 2 years, and they've been the best tag team ever since. So I feel like this took no momentum out of Fraxium. I feel like they're still the greatest, but it is what it is. I feel like they have real potential whenever they get to the main roster, but right now, I don't think they're pulling the trigger on them, because they're the sole reason why NXT Tag Team Division is anything. So I feel like if they go, and especially with Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, as that tag team was going away, and Braun Breaker went up to the main roster, and that tag team broke up, we need this tag team down in NXT. So I think they'll be there for another year and holding those tag team championships, but I don't see any tag team that can defeat them unless it was like a Hank and Tank, or if they really wanted to pull the trigger on them, or even Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. But they've already had that chance and they didn't pull the trigger, so I don't think they're going to do it. They know that the Fraxium is the greatest tag team right now, so I ain't mad at them holding the titles for at least another year. We get Jordynne Grace versus Roxanne Perez, and in this match, we saw a lot of near falls, but we also saw Vic Joseph go on and on about how Jordynne Grace is a pro, and that she is not going to let Roxanne Perez hit any of her big moves on her, and how she is just such a pro, and they're really trying to get Jordynne Grace the momentum she deserves, because as we know, she won this match, and I predicted Jordynne Grace in this match. But as we know that she won the match, and it's interesting, because I don't know why that Roxanne Perez didn't get the offense she deserved. As we know, we saw on Monday Night Raw, it was a finisher fest. We saw finisher over finisher over finisher, and we didn't get the pop rocks once. But I think I know the reason for this, and a lot of people were griping about it, but I know the reason. It's because Roxanne Perez is going up to the main roster, and they don't want that finisher of the pop rocks being any less of a force in NXT than it is in the main roster, because as we know, going to the main roster is a huge step up. So I think they just don't want that finisher to seem down. So I understand why they didn't use the pop rocks in this match, but I thought it was still good. We see Undertaker give Obafemi advice before his match with Moose, and he was pretty much just telling him to defend his yard, defend NXT. And as we know, this was kind of the clash of NXT and TNA. So Undertaker was just trying to tell Oba that you're the leader of this brand, you're the champion, you have to defend this brand and defend the company. And that is what Obafemi did. He defeated Moose. I predicted Obafemi because after I saw the Hardy Boys defeat Fraxium, I kind of had the idea that they are not going to take an NXT championship and bring it to TNA, and they're not going to let a TNA championship go to NXT. So it was pretty simple to see there. But great match. We saw a lot of athleticism from Moose and Obafemi, but we saw Obafemi hit a lot of new stuff. I think at one point we even got a Hurricane Rana from Obafemi. And we saw a drop kick from Obafemi. That was, just the signs of athleticism from these two are insane. Then we see match of the night, in my opinion. Y'all know I'm a Javon Evans fanboy, but at the same time, I don't think anyone can deny it. This was a street fight between Javon Evans and Ethan Page, and we saw the greatest match I might have seen in such a long time. Obviously, not counting watch back replays, because I say the best match I've watched back is probably some matches from Lucha Underground, but as we know, they just put on bangers after bangers, and whenever that Lucha Underground was still a thing, it was crazy. My unplugged. Mic unplugged, my fault. But yeah, this was crazy. If I had to rate this out of 5, it is a 5. It's a 5 out of 5. We saw an RKO through a table, or a cutter. We saw like so much stuff. We even saw at one point Javon Evans go over the top rope and land on Ethan and send him over the announcer's table. Like, dude, the signs of athleticism from Javon Evans needs to be studied in a lab somewhere. But I picked Javon Evans because who doesn't like Javon Evans? But I'm kind of mad. I'm kind of salty. Cannot lie. Dating back to Heatwave, I thought at that moment that Javon Evans was going to win the NXT Championship, and I think it's time. With him getting this win, I think he needs to put Ethan Page in the past, and we knew that Ava said that whoever wins this match, that's the end of the rivalry. This is the last match of their rivalry, and that's why it was a street fight. We saw chairs in this match. We saw Javon Evans go through 2 chairs together. I mean, just the crazy stuff. But after the match is what really caught my eye. But hold on, before we get to what happened after the match, Javon Evans needs to go face Obafemi, especially now that Obafemi has put Moose in the past now by defeating him. I think that it's time. We need that match. If there's anybody that can dethrone Obafemi, it was either going to be Moose or it was going to be Javon Evans. And some people ain't going to agree with that, but this is big versus small here. Javon Evans is not a dude to take lightly. I think we're going to get a Javon Evans title run in the future. Or I would be completely fine with him going after Shawn Spears too. That would be a banger, but it is what it is. After the match, we already know that this new faction attacked Obafemi and Fraxium, but after the match, they attacked Javon Evans, and I think they attacked Ethan Page a little bit, just showing they're going after everybody. So I was expecting them. It's crazy though, because they attack only one person every show. Or not every show, but wait, let me think. Did they attack Fraxium and Obafemi on the same night? They might have. I don't think they did though. Yeah, I know they attacked him at Vengeance Day, but I don't know if they attacked Fraxium at Vengeance Day. I'll have to go look back. But then we get the main event of the night, and this was Stephanie McCare versus Julia for the NXT Championship and the Women's North American Championship. As we know, the Women's North American Championship is a relatively new championship, but Stephanie McCare's been holding on to it, and she's been such a great champion, and we have not seen Julia on TV in a while. So going into this match, I picked Stephanie McCare because I was telling everybody that I just think that Shawn Michaels has realized that he can't do much with Julia. There's not a lot of people who can challenge Julia right now, and she's such a good champion, but at the same time, I don't know what she's going to do after this. I don't know what's next for Julia. I truly don't. I don't know who she can face or what she can do. She might be able to go after Jordynne Grace, but I think we're going to get to Stephanie McCare versus Jordynne Grace. There's just so much stuff to dive into about this, but in the end, Stephanie defeated Julia to become the 4th woman in WWE history to hold 2 titles at once. We saw Asuka do this, we saw Becky Lynch do this, and we saw Charlotte Flair do this, and now it's Stephanie McCare. That's crazy. To see somebody in NXT do it, we obviously saw Becky Lynch do this at WrestleMania 35. She defeated Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. But now, we see Stephanie McCare do it in NXT. That's something you don't see every year. So, crazy match. I loved it. But then we get to the stuff that happened after Roadblock. As y'all see, we have a lot of stuff to go through there. But, for starting off, we got the Penta message. Penta just posted on his Instagram. It might take a minute to load because I did these this morning. He said, see you in Belgium. As we know, next week we have Penta versus Ludwig Kaiser in a no-holds-barred match. This is going to be a great match, guys. I don't know if anyone is going to be putting their eyes on it, but we know that this is going to be a great match. And also, we got Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker next week. This might be one of the greatest Raws we've ever seen. Next up, we see Mickie James back on WWE TV. Last night, we saw her and Jada Parker, and that's good to see her on TV. And we also seen Bubba Ray Dudley. We saw The Undertaker. It's just good to see everyone from LFG back on to WWE TV. We see the Javon Evans attire. I know people like Santi Zap, they were wondering about Javon Evans attire, and he posted this before NXT. He posted this before last night, so he posted it, like, scientists have asked if this was what it looks like or if it's paint, and that is what his attire was. He just put the knee pads right here, and of course he was wearing the Jordan 4s, which is absolutely crazy. Imagine wearing those while you're wrestling. And he still jumped 40 feet in the air. Like, what is going on? We get a Seth Rollins name update, which I was not expecting. WWE has removed freaking from Seth Rollins' name. At this point, I'm kind of used to saying Seth freaking Rollins. So what is he going to say whenever he comes out to Raw? He's going to say he's the Revolutionary. He's going to say he is Seth Rollins? Or is it going to be Seth freaking Rollins? I wonder. I don't think we're going to see a Seth Rollins opener in a hot minute, though. Unless they have that feud with Roman Reigns, and I think we'll definitely get him an opener. But I don't see it happening next week. We get a Raw time update. Next week's Raw will be held 3 p.m. Eastern and 12 Pacific. So for me, that'll be at 3 p.m. And this is definitely big news, because instead of waiting till 8 o'clock, we get to see it at 3 p.m., which I absolutely love. My brother doesn't love it because he has work, but it is what it is. I don't have work. I'm going to enjoy Raw while I can. And this is going to be a banger show. So if you miss it, then I don't know what you're missing out on. I'm sorry for you if you have work, truly. We get a Cody Rhodes reaction to Roman Reigns attacking Seth Rollins. He says, "Welcome back, my tribal chief," and throws up the ones. So they're definitely not teasing this Roman Reigns Cody Rhodes rivalry, which I thought's good, because I don't want them to face. Well, I want them to face off again because I want my tribal chief to win the title back. But you know, we get a Malachi Black brand update. I did this in the last deep dive video, but just a little update. People think that he will be going to SmackDown just because Zelina Vega's on SmackDown. It looks like they're going to do something with her, so obviously makes sense. We get a Dominic and Finn Balor. As we know, they hugged on Monday Night Raw. Is that the same energy? Are we getting that same energy? How do y'all feel about that? I don't know. I'm mixed opinions. I'm kind of confused about this Judgment Day stuff. I know they're getting a new member. I don't know if it's going to be Karrion or even Malachi. I don't think it's going to be Malachi, especially because we're advertising him as on the SmackDown brand, and normally they don't split up couples. So who is this sixth member? Are we overthinking it? Is it really just Karrion Kross all along? We seen him talking to Dominic last week, I think. But are we overthinking it, or are we underthinking it? I don't know. Ethan Page attire. We see Ethan Page's attire, and turns out Braun Strowman is a fashion icon. Did he copy him here? I think he definitely did. I mean, obviously he doesn't wear an arm sleeve, but I mean, or an elbow pad, but it looks identical here. Was he copying him? I don't know. We see Triple H women's division comment, and Triple H says he's not going to just give the women the WrestleMania main event, that they have to earn it. If they're in the main event, it's because they earned it. If not, it's because someone else was slightly ahead of them. And I feel like this is a bit messed up. I wouldn't come out and just say the women. I'd say either way. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. I feel like either way, they'd have to earn it. And I feel like this triple threat should be the main event of night one. But honestly, if we're being completely honest with each other, let's be for real. Either Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Rollins needs to be the opener of night one or night two, or I feel like it needs to either be the opener of night one or the main event of night one. But I see a lot of people having mixed opinions about Jey Uso and Gunther being main event of night one, which obviously it ain't official yet. But let me go off right quick. If you win the Royal Rumble, you get the opportunity to face the champion of your choosing in the main event of WrestleMania. Just because their rivalry isn't what we like right now does not mean we can take that away from Jey Uso. It's not his problem. He won the Royal Rumble, and he still gets to be in that main event of WrestleMania. I think that this is complete nonsense, that we're seeing people actually believing that we're going to get anything but this match in the main event, in the night one main event of WrestleMania. We need that. If we don't get Jey Uso versus Gunther, I'm going to be absolutely shocked. Because if you win the Royal Rumble, that's what you get. You get to be able to go to the main event of WrestleMania and complete your childhood dreams. I might have just went off there, but it's okay, man, because that's what they deserve. That's what whoever wins this deserves. And obviously we know that Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany is a big contender for this night one because she won the Royal Rumble, or she won the Royal Rumble too. So either way, it's a messed up scenario. But John Cena versus Cody Rhodes has to be a main event. But I still just don't understand. And since that Tiffany and Charlotte might not get the main event, or Gunther versus Jay ain't gonna get the main event, I'm still gonna be mad about it because they won the Royal Rumble. They deserve that. And even if the storyline ain't good, it's just a bit annoying here. And then we get a John Cena update. Go back. John Cena will be appearing on 3 straight Monday Night Raws starting next week. So we'll get him next week, we'll get him the week after that, and the week after that. So we get John Cena on a pretty consistent schedule there. Then we get the last thing that we do after every single deep dive episode, and that's the photo dump. So let's start it off here. We get Grayson Waller in front of the Madison Square Garden sign with the cringe on the Yeet glasses, which I thought was hilarious. We get the Hardy Boys and Fraxium backstage after last night. We get Cody Rhodes walking into Madison Square Garden, which we might have to do some deep diving. That's probably a worker, but y'all know we dive into every single thing that happens on this channel, and we're a bit too we dive into a bit of too much, and sometimes we find ourselves into spoilers. But it's okay. We see Penta upload this. Obviously, we know he had a match on main event, and I think this is Jaquin Wild. I'm pretty sure. But man, this was a match, man. I want to go back and watch it, but from the looks of this, it looks insane. And I think this happened before Monday Night Raw, so whoever was in Monday Night Raw, shout out to you because you got to see this awesome match. Let me know in the comments if you were there and if it was a great match or not. Then we see the last picture, and that is Bianca Belair in front of the Madison Square Garden sign. And before another Madison Square Garden one, I put it in the last deep dive video, but it was just Roman Reigns standing in front of the Madison Square Garden sign. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the only one. But obviously, as we know, whenever wrestlers come to Madison Square Garden, they always take pictures in front of this sign, which is rightfully so. This is one of the this is the greatest arena, if not of all time. This is the greatest stadium of all time. So yeah, very good. I loved this Roadblock. I loved NXT last night. I loved everything that we got. We even saw a lot of stuff after NXT that kind of gave us a little bit of hints about what, like Javon Evans' attire. A lot of people didn't know that, and then even the Ethan Page attire. But I'd say the thing that impacted us the most out of the after Roadblock section here was probably the Seth Rollins name update or the Triple H Women's Division message. I feel like that was a bit messed up, and I feel like that this Seth Rollins name update is going to be shaking up a lot of things, and it might stop Triple H from booking Seth Rollins in these opening segments, which I might be overthinking it. But with that being said, we had an awesome deep dive this week, or not this week, but today. And I will be seeing y'all boys in the next one. Tonight we have Evolve, which I don't know why they don't stream it on YouTube here where I live, but man, it is what it is. I'll see y'all boys in the next one. Deuces.